Hey guys, how are you getting on? Hope you're all well and welcome to today's workout commentary. So today I want to talk a little bit about my new training split. So because of work and a few other things coming up, I'm quite busy. So I switched my 4-day plan to a 3-day plan, meaning I'm going to hit 3 full body sessions. Purely because in terms of my goals and what I want to get out of training, I want to have a bit of frequency there. And if I'm training 3 days a week, in terms of kind of the most bang for my buck, full body session will be the way to go. So without further ado guys, let's have a look at my new split. So day one, it's kind of it's a full body split to be honest. So I'm starting off with deadlifts. I have a small little plate there, a 25 kilo plate at the bottom, just because any lower than that I find my back round a little bit and I feel like I lose a little bit of tension from my hamstrings because I bend my knees a bit too much. And I want to use this movement to develop my hamstrings, my lower back and my glutes. So I put the plate there to make sure I don't shift as much weight to my quads. A deadlift is a very powerlifting kind of move, and unless you're a powerlifter, you don't have to come to the bottom of each rep. The reason I have the plate there is because I want to use this movement specifically to train my hamstrings, my glutes, my lower back. And when I find that when I come too far down, when I bend my knees too much, a lot of that load goes from my hamstrings onto my quads, which I don't want here. I have other movements for my quads, so I have the plate there. It means I can keep a lot more attention on my hamstrings, my glutes, and my lower back, as opposed to my quads. So one thing I really want to do is actually get a lot stronger in my deadlift, and I also want to build my back. So I place these low rows directly afterwards to allow my back to get a little more work done. Because in a deadlift, your upper back does get a lot of work done because you want to maintain that tightness. And when you're holding, 140, 160, 140 plus kilos of weight in your arms, your back's going to get a lot of tension in that squeeze position. So basically you want to strengthen as much as we can, hence why adding a little more volume with the cable low rows. Again, a little tip here, lean forward slightly from the hips. And basically what you want to do is create a really big angle at the elbow joint. When we have a really small angle, so less than 90 degrees, we place a lot more load onto our biceps and our back. And our rows predominantly, a back movement. So we want to place as much load on the musculature of our back, like our rhomboids, our traps, our rear delts, and our lats in particular, as opposed to our biceps. So create a really large angle, control the fuck out of it, really slow, and do whatever you can to place a lot more load on the back. So things like squeezing your shoulders back and down, keep your elbows tight by your side, and again, creating a really large angle at the elbow joint. So I supersetted those low rows with a dumbbell hammer curl. Now, your bicep has 2 heads, a long head on the outside and a shorter head on the inside. In order to target different heads a bit more, I kind of bias one of them towards the other one. I'm using a hammer grip. Basically, when you have a pronated grip or a neutral grip, you're going to target more of that long head on the outside. When you have more of a supinated grip, you're going to hit primarily the inner head of your bicep, but you're still going to get full kind of stimulation of both heads. Another way of kind of hitting different heads is your grip. So if you have a supinated grip and you have a kind of a narrow grip inside shoulder width, you'll hit more of the outer head. Again, you'll be hitting both, but predominantly, the outer, the longer head. And then we have a wider than shoulder width grip, we're going to hit more of that smaller inner head. So this block is really bringing out my weak points. Again, that will be my upper chest as well. So the upper 5 of my pec are really kind of underdeveloped. So what I'm doing here is adding a banded Smith machine press. Again, the bands, I made tons of videos on the bands before. Basically just makes a more even resistance profile. So at the bottom where it generally will be heavier, I have the bands to gain tension so that it gives me a little bit of help on the way up, meaning when I add more weight, it becomes a lot more equal throughout the range of motion. The bands are on what's called a daisy chain. That just allows for the bands to be attached at a lower position, because if I had the bands attached around the top of the machine itself, they would stretch a lot earlier, meaning that the whole range of motion I'd have a lot of help, as opposed to here in that top position where I'm actually a lot stronger. The bands kind of lose all tension, so it's just the weight, and then when I do actually only need it at that bottom position, they start to kick in. Things like supersets and drop sets, trisets, they're all means of kind of producing more metabolic work. You shouldn't really put them towards the start of your sessions, only for various reasons. I'll get onto that on another day, but purely because you don't want to waste all your energy towards the start of your session. So metabolic work is quite fatiguing, quite tough, so placing at the end of the session when you want to really kind of burn out, that's kind of the where you really should be placing it. Now what I'm doing here is a triset. It's dumbbell ladder raises. Then straight after that I go into some incline rear delt flies. Now you'll see at the start of the rep, I squeeze my shoulders back nice and tight, and I keep them there because I don't want my rhomboids to play any significant role here. If I were to let my shoulder blades protract and retract the whole time, then my rhomboids would get a lot more of the load as opposed to just my rear delts. So here I want to really focus the load on my rear delts, so keep my shoulder blades squeezed back nice and tight. Notice I'm also only working in that top position, so I'm not coming all the way down because I would lose a lot of tension. So the dumbbells want to go down, but my rear delt wants to bring my arm in that kind of arc position. So at the bottom position, there'll be very little tension on my rear delt, whereas at the top, there's a lot. I then switch to a band, just kind of max it out in that bottom position, again, just to kind of focus on that lengthened range. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Any feedback, let me know. Leave a comment down below or get in touch on Instagram at Coach Bodan, or email me, danreespersonaltraining@gmail.com. I'll let you watch the rest of this clip. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.